Oof. So anyway. Yep, this is just gonna be like a whatever normal. Well, not really normal, just like a pick a just pick a stack between the number 1, 2, 3, or 4. So really, you just choose your number. And the decks I'm gonna be using. Okay. I don't know why I keep getting that notification that says, "Oh, opt in for one of these things." Okay, I tried clicking on it, it doesn't do anything. But anyway, so that way, those are curious, I want to know which decks I'm using for this. I'll be using hello Fadwa and Kayla. So I'm gonna be using the if I'm existing, that's pretty much the most I can say. So the decks I'm using, Black Moon Astrology cards, but I'm not using it just like as as like a regular oracle. Then we have the Daemon Tarot, which really is an oracle deck, not really a tarot deck. And yes, hello Battlefox, and yes, this is the one. This is the one that got LFM being all, this is a bad deck. It'll make monsters come out of it. Yep, it's that same. It's this same exact one, and no. And the Total of Vampires, which is a literal gem, by Ian Daniels. This is a gem. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna let you guys think of the magical number for a little bit, and then when time comes, I'll just start with 1. Or who knows? I might be slick and say, okay, we'll go with number 3 first, and then we'll go to 1, and then we'll go to 4, then 2. Never know. But take a moment and then decide which number is saying, hey, pick me, you dummy. So take your time. Of course you can. You can choose whichever one you deem fit. I'm not here to, I'm not here to bribe or coerce you to pick one, because I'm not going to get anything out of it, coercing you into choosing any of them. So, okie dokie. So take your time, think. Don't be all like, 2. Take your time to think. Absolutely nothing wrong. Also, I'm trying. Wow, you guys wait. I'm trying to find one of my stones that I can't find. Oh, it's here somewhere. I swear. This new Shutterkite, or wait, no, not Shutterkite. Covalite. Yeah, that was it. This Covalite, I tell you, it likes to run. It likes to hide. Where is this bloody thing? Hopefully he's in here. Of course not. Nope. Oh. Thanks a lot, brownies. I'm good, Lisa. Thank you. Hello, Ray. Okay. So, I guess we'll just now take it from the top. So, if you chose pile number 1, the First Blood. No pun intended, because I'm using a vampire deck too. Pile number 1. Turn on, Mike. Turn on. Come on. Goody. Okay, here to go. Hello again, Carlos. Okay, fam, don't blow too hard. Don't blow it. Don't really blow too hard because then don't make a mess while you're, doing whatever the heck you do, you fan. Don't blow it. Because it's going to be quite a mess if you throw things everywhere. Okay, let me get this out of my life. Well, that fell. Oh, well, who cares? Okay, so pile number 1. I will be bringing out the Black Moon, the Black Moon Astrology cards first. So, number 1, if you chose number 1, your element you have is fire. Oh, looks like we got a flamer here. We have desire. We're bringing in the heat with Capricorn. Wow. Talk about having a lot of heat with the Saturn sun so far. Okay. We have fire with duty, commitment, sacrifice, title, organization, the highest of all the earth signs, and is also the sign that actually is also deemed the most supreme one because it has it has in the nakshatras it has the most. It technically has 4, counting Abhijit, which is in the last bit of Capricorn, a bitish into Saravana, but still, most of it's in Capricorn. The 8th house. Well, it looks like we got a lot of Snapple, we got the in-laws, we got things kicking the bucket, we got lottery winning, we got some doing the nasty, if you catch my drift. We have surgery, occult. Let's see what else is in the 8th house. Yeah, you get the idea. Surgeries and a lot of surprises. Oh, and also the house of the law of probability, meaning that the law of probability states that everything that can possibly happen, literally anything, like a whale landing on my head right now, there's a formula or a percentage chance of it actually happening. And the planet is Jupiter Guru, Beraspati. Right off the bat, Jupiter Guru is pissed off. He's pissed off. You're taking one who speaks on behalf of the divine, and you're telling him, "Look, dude, you need to chill. You need to have some control with your preaching, and have some structure to how you teach, and give higher knowledge." That this doesn't work. And Guru doesn't want to teach for a title, because really he don't give no damns about teaching for a title. So. Okay, so those are the Black Moon Oracles for number 1. The daemon is Lord Beelzebub. And Lord Beelzebub is actually the one that's associated with Lord of the Flies. And because... Okay, fine, here, let me debunk this too. Just because he's depicted as a fly doesn't mean that he is just like this. Beelzebub translates to the one that flies. So, what has wings? Not just a fly. If it has wings and it flies, that's Lord Beelzebub. You can even say, by technicality, airplanes, helicopters. Counts. It flies. But for the Tour of Vampires that comes out, we have Justice. I hate this depiction of it because it makes me think, oh wow, totally, definitely not vampiric Ariana Grande. Please shoot me. Totally, definitely not. Justice with the Prince of Twigs, which I'm not gonna lie, makes me kind of think, wow, I see you know how to handle your scepter, mister. You're sticking it wrong. I'm gonna change this up so that way it looks a little bit more presentable. The World, which kind of looks like she's kind of doing an overdramatic, like signing off of like a Broadway show, kind of like being overdramatic with it. Justice, the World, Prince of Twigs, and 4 of Cups, 4 Grails, which this has. Where the heck is it? Looks like it says. Okay, looks like I'm seeing Cancer Moon for this depiction. Okay. So let's start it from the top. The first thing that hits me in the head. if by any chance there is a figure that is kind of ordering you around, meaning they use like their experience, their older age, or if they use something that they have that you don't have as a means to justify them actually acting the way that they do towards you. And even worse too, if they happen to be somebody who kind of watches your every move. By also that I'm meaning like they just, it kind of seems like it's kind of like some of the things that they do. It's kind of intentional. Like it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not listening in or anything. I'm minding my own business. But reality that they are. If you happen to have somebody in your life like that, or maybe heck, maybe you're doing it. Hey, I mean, everybody has their reasons to do stuff, but that's when you got to keep yourself in check. But anyway, because what I'm really seeing here, at least for the Oracle side and the Tarot, would be how you actually go about combating this. Overall, there's a lot of unpredictability with this individual, or possibly even threatening abuse, or somebody's actually keeping an eye at using something like, well, I've had more experience in doing this, I'm older than you, or essentially being hypocritical too. That's another thing I'm getting. They say one thing, but they do the complete opposite. It's like they're being somebody who's trying to make themselves seem like they're moralistic and the good thing, but in reality they're full of because they can't do it themselves. They like to nitpick others and supposedly guide others, but they can't do it themselves. And if they don't get the route that they're trying to push for, they can kind of get a little bit, just a little bit of a hissy fitty. And they try to actually shame the people or person that doesn't comply with what they want. And they try to discipline them in a way where they don't have the right to discipline by kind of acting a little bit too heated and a bit aggressive. And also kind of conditional, meaning that if you have somebody, or are you doing this, don't be doing this, you have somebody that actually you live with, you do work for, if there's any kind of like exchange, this individual will be the kind that's completely conditional, meaning that if you do something for me, then maybe I'll do something. I say conditional because, for one, you have the moralistic one, Guru, with Capricorn. Stick it. Guru is pissed off in Capricorn, so he has to have order, self-control, and be strict. And he does not need the title to be Guru. Guru comes from those who teaches, by the way. So really, you have one who speaks on behalf of the divine having to be really intimidating, hypercritical, and organized and strict and disciplinary with it, and using it to flaunt his status around with. And Guru doesn't want to do that. And because since the 8th house is involved, having it be completely out of nowhere, suddenly, and also death transformation, this can also be an individual that when they try to actually teach someone, they end up actually completely destroying them. Or the way that they teach somebody is overkill, meaning that they can go from one end to the other deep end, like that. And that's not the best way to teach. And they keep tabs, because one of the things that Lord Beelzebub is known to do, he's able to get vision on whomever he's keeping an eye on by pretty much seeing through that what flies in the dark. So how do you counteract this individual or this twathead who's treating you as such? Based on what the tarot has told me. So, first and foremost, You have to... Hello, Angela. First and foremost, you have to stop letting it happen to you. You have to fight back. You have to stop this twithead from nomming on you. That does include any kind of psychological BS. Meaning if they're screaming and yelling at you, degrading you, stalking you, doing anything that's bringing harm to you, mistreating you, saying things and not holding up to their word, even if it's indirect harm, stand up and, slap the guy. Don't be like the girl in the image being like, oh no, woe is me. Yes, I am. You have to take a stand for yourself and not let it happen. Because in the depiction, she's kind of like, fantastico. But you have to not be like this individual in the car that's getting bitten. And what's even more kind of ironic, honestly, is that the figure that's doing this is in an attire kind of like how a monk would wear. Oh. Guru can be a monk figure. And also because now, look at this. Pissed off Guru and now we have a symbol of somebody who's posing as like being part of a religious congregation doing abuse, domestic violence. So much that is actually causing harm, causing transformation. But the thing is, the real transformation comes in when you decide, you know what? I'm tired of this guy taking a chomp out of my arm and biting me. You have to take your free hand, come up and just smack him in the face. But in order to do that, you need to actually understand. I'm not staring at this card because the card's attractive. Okay, fine, I was. Deal with it. You have to take logical, but quick, and a bit... How do I put this? Like, the way that you go about getting free of this twathead, you have to go about it in a way that is swift and kind of... What's the word I'm looking for? Jolting. But not like zap, but like just like stunning. And yes, I'm okay, fine. I might be using this, the way that this guy on this card looks to actually, explain it, but still. You may actually have to use a tactic that's quick, kind of a little bit stunning, and being able to get away from this individual or situation hot and fast, because you got fire and wind in the Knight of Twigs. You have the burning wind. And a hot wind, it's not pleasant. Because it can kind of like... It's just not comfortable. So you have to make the quick and hasty decision to actually get out of this. In order to actually get to the world of actually having it come to an end. So something new can begin. Which will be then coming up to be the definitely not Ariana Grande lookalike fail. I can't get past it, I'm sorry. For the Justice card to come through. So, you have to realize and you have to stop letting this happen. Because it seems that, well, if she is in that position like that, you have to be aware that it's going on. Because if you're aware that, they're acting out of line, and they're kind of not being the best, they're kind of acting in a way that's not the best, they're kind of playing taps, stocks, and just looking your shoulder and just being impractical with spying on you all the time and your every little thing and nitpicking you, stick it. Shut up. Stick it. Do we have to yell? Come on now. But anyway, you have... Oh, why do you just bump him? You really just have to understand that, well, even if it's direct, indirect, and they don't respect the boundary, you have to take the quick and swift action to metaphorically kind of move fast with logic and reason, but also in a way that kind of shocks them. And you have to take the initiative too, because if you're not going to be taking the initiative, you might get stuck in this whole situation, and you actually might be going from being able to function on a balance level and actually taking in some of the good parts in life. You actually may risk being stuck in this infinite loop and it actually start affecting the way that you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, and pretty much every little aspect of your life if you're not careful and if you let this fester too much. But because, and also judging by this too, I'd have to say this probably has gone on for a long period of time. It's not recent. So more than likely, it could be an individual that's like a family member. And if it's a family member doing this, I think it's time for them to grow up. And if you're doing this to a family member, I think it's time for you to stop and realize it. Because this is not necessary. It's not. Because if you're... Let's not have a screaming contest, please. If you're going day by day, trying to do the best that you can, and if somebody's coming in and kind of trying to be a little bit overkill with a nitpick and trying to give you sound advice, which turns out to be crap advice because it doesn't apply with you and it can't work for you because you've tried it, no, you don't need that. But the minute that they start threatening you, it's time to, put the foot down and tell them, hey, your advice sucks, you need to stick it and stop messing with me. If I want your advice, I'll ask you for it. But the advice that I've been getting from you has been complete and utter crap and useless. Completely useless. It's like you're trying to tell me how to go fishing. You're trying to teach me how to fish in the clouds. But the problem, though, you can't fish on a cloud because you're going to fall through it and land on your head. That's the kind of level of advice to try and make themselves seem woozy-woo good and all. But to get to this world, you're going to have to make a dashing and pretty in-the-face move. And once you get to that, that's when things will start to balance out and things will be more recuperated, is the best way to put it. And the thing is, they're going to get their just desserts with this. And in a way, too, once you actually get back to a position where you're able to function properly, think, and live day by day as one normally should, in a way, you would also be put in a position where you can kind of indirectly, taunt them. And kind of, screw with all of them. And also kind of mock them, because if you notice how she's just like, oh, look at me, you're never going to catch me. Look at me swing my hips back and forth like Shakira, but not as good. But that's the point where you're going to be getting, but again, you have to realize that if something's not okay, you have to say it, but be quick with it. Cutthroat. In order for it to be ending for good. And now the thing is, if you can't do that, you can definitely... well, it also depends on the situation, but the overall thing is, be very aware of what bothers you and what doesn't. And make it known that, hey, I don't like it when somebody gives me unsolicited advice. If I wanted it from you, I'll ask you. We got a cupcake? Good. Make it known for that. And let them know that their advice is only needed when you ask for it. And if they can get over the fact, for whatever reason, and they think it's justified just to keep staring and watching over you, or watching every little thing, and then they come in and nitpick it to try and make it better, well, for one, it's not their thing to worry about, because it's yours to worry about. And two, why don't they just worry about something else that they have that's going on with their life instead? I mean, hey, they have all this free time to do that. Why don't they do it with something useful for them instead of, knock you down? Just saying. And everything I just said, if you're doing this, if anything, if everybody just, and if this is actually being done, if you're actually doing this to somebody else, Please stop doing this. You don't need to you don't need to be putting somebody through this unnecessary stress. If you happen to be doing this, but then again, if somebody was doing this to someone, they won't admit it. But anyway, so number 1, overall message for number 1. If somebody is being a hypocritical twathead who's trying, shut up. Shut up. Christ. Is that near impossible? Meh. Anyway, that was your pile number 1. Tell the hypocritical twathead who thinks he's hot woozy woo to go and piss it and stick it. And that his advice is completely useless. It's not benefiting you at all in any way, shape, or form, and as such, no, meh with it. Second pile, number 2. Okay, here to go. The first thing we got is that somebody looks like they're blowing it. There's 4. Here's number 2. We have 1 that's blowing it. We got wind, Venus, Shukracharya, the 7th house, and Taurus. Wow. Huh. Oh, this one? This one is the Black Moon Astrology. Yeah, Black Moon Astrology. So we have the element of wind, which is also Motricone with no, this is not my deck. I didn't make this or create this. It's by Susan Shepard or whatever. So we have the air element with Venus, who actually owns an air sign Libra, and that's his Motricone, with the 7th house, which is actually the house where Venus naturally rules, and then the sign of Taurus, where she also rules as her vacation home, alternative world. As for the Daemon card, we have the one and only good king, lovely King Asmodeus. Oh boy. Every time when I say his name, I just hear, "Ha! You busted!" Every time. Just every time. Give me this. Ha! You busted! I like how I said that, and my computer just lit up. Go figure. Well, I mean, heck, I enjoy, playing blackjack with him, okay? For the tarot eyes, we have the 2 of Twigs. Mars in, I believe, yeah, that's Mars in Aries. 4 Blades. The Magician. And she who's not having it. Queen of Sass. Queen of Swords. Okie dokie. How do I do this? How am I going to put this? Well, for one, there is a strong mental crippling. Well, I wouldn't want to say crippling. But pretty much the overall situation where it stands, there's a strong, intense pull of desire towards an individual. And there is the point of trying to either restaurate or heal a connection because of there being a lot of miscommunication. And there's also a sense of security with this individual, or it could be vice versa. There's someone trying to do this for you and you're not aware of it. But really, I'm getting more of this actually for somebody else that you're having in mind and not the other way around. So if you chose pile number 2, whether you want to go with it or not, there is this strong mental process and thinking and way of trying to figure out a way to communicate to other, but in a way that's kind of a bit possessive. Nothing wrong with that. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But now, because since Venus is also a planet that has dominion over intoxication, yep, you heard it from me. Venus has dominion over being intoxicated. Because when you get intoxicated, you tend to be in a state, usually by when you're, how do I put this? When you devote, or when you're like in woozy woo love, cheesy love in the first time, you're intoxicated by it. What planet actually controls that? Venus. When you're in love with something, you get so addicted to it, because Venus also has dominion over addiction too. But anyway. There is a really strong longing, desire, like even to the point where it's meant like consistent thought, longing, and even also possibly being kind of a little bit. But now when I say lustful, I'm not talking about being vulgar and like all the suggestive and all that stuff. No, like a strong lusting and longing for. That's what I'm going for. There's a strong lusting and longing for a certain individual. And to the point where it doesn't make you feel secure not having this individual around you, because it's just not how you want it to be. But now I say, well, I don't have anybody in my life. I don't have anyone. Well, this is kind of the feeling that you want to actually get from somebody else. Meaning that you want somebody who's able to have you and their thoughts, able to make you feel like, oh, I am important. Oh, this person thought about me today. And they even messaged me, or they did something really small and I appreciated it. Or they have a longing to be more close to me, to have a more deeper connection. And also, I feel more secure if somebody does do that. That might be a type of individual you want. And I mean, if you have an individual that actually is putting in the effort like that, well, I don't care if it's needy. I don't care if it's smothering. I don't care if it's too much. You have someone who gives a shit. Don't lose it. And even like supposedly like if, oh well, I just don't feel the same anymore. Well, I mean, I haven't felt mad in the past few minutes. But I mean, I can feel mad just like that again. Emotions come and go like the tide of the wave. So if you're not feeling it right now, boo-hoo. It'll come back around and be like, I really love this person. And told you. So that's the kind of love that you're kind of actually really striving for. To have even a communication one too. Not one that's just like a few days later, no talking, and all of a sudden they come back in and just acting like nothing happened. It's just like, what happened? Was everything okay? Did anything happen to you? And there's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with it. If you think there's a problem with asking questions just to make sure everything's okay, God forbid somebody cares. Just saying. If somebody wants to be engaged in your life and wants to put in the effort to be a part of it and ask questions to be engaged with it, and if you get into a hissy fit because of that, well, what would you choose? Would you rather have somebody or choose somebody that doesn't give a shit and doesn't care and doesn't even ask about, are you okay, and just goes, whatever. Or you're back, hey, completely not even interested in what you're doing. Or do you want somebody who's engaged in your life and wants to be a part of it and actually understand like everything's okay and making sure you're okay? That's your choice. So now, how do you go about this longing, lusting for this individual? Or obtaining this individual? Or how do you best put on the appearance or the right mindset to pull them towards you? Well, first and foremost, you have to make the choice to not be conflicted and be hesitant. You have to grab your stick, tongue twister. Grab your stick, take it by the rod of it, take your spear, pointy thing, take it with both hands like he does. Walk out of your tower and go onto a Spartan quest. And go after what you have lost that's hurt you, that you want. You have to make the choice, grab the stick, off you go, let's go grab it. Because if you're going to stay in the same spot, it's going to get harder and harder and harder, and the wound's going to get more and more and more and more and more and more and more painful. If you just sit there and do nothing, you're not going to be able to get past it. Now say, well, I don't have anybody. Well, okay, well, here we go then. Again, same thing with you. If you don't have anyone, grab your stick, out you go into, other people land. Go and hunt one. You have your spear. You can go and spear one of them. But you can't just keep festering on the wounds of like, I don't have anybody. I'm wounded from my last connection. Well, that's just how interactions with people are. People are stupid. People are inconsiderate. People are selfish. People are rude. That's just how it is. It's hard. It hurts. So I definitely know that. But if you want to have this connection, or if you're wanting to reconnect with this individual, you may have to take a big gulp of, fear and just swallow it and just go for it. I'll hold your wine glass. Because you have the ability to make this situation in the state happen. You have every tool that you need to do it with. Everything from soup to nuts. Every little thing to do it, you have it. So use it. And even if you have to manipulate things around a little bit and, pull the strings of some things, who cares? Your happiness is first, right? Mm-hmm. You have the means to do it, so just do it. Stop picking the nose. Stop being all, well, I think it'll just come to me natural. No. You want it? Get out the caboose and the keister and go get it. Do what you must to obtain it. No matter what it is. Even King Asmodeus would say the same thing. If you're lost for it, go to get it. You're busted. Yeah, go get it. But when you go after it, be no BS with it. And even if you have to, you notice her hand, it's a bit bloody. It's a bit bloody on this hand that she's holding the blade with. Just a little bit. So that can kind of show that even though you're hurt because of this, if it's something that if this is an individual you want, nothing should be able to stop you inside of the pain. If you really want this individual, no pain can make you, stay away from them. Get out the caboose. You want them? Get them. Or if you want to meet this individual, get up, grab your spear, get going, get off the caboose. You might have to tell the inner rooms to, stick it and keep quiet and piss it. You have the tools and you have the sass to, get that what you want. But to get it, you have to get off the caboose and go for it. That's being reiterated over and over again. Because overall, really, it's your sense of security and happiness and just having a nice, pleasant life. And being able to have mental peace. I think, that's more than planning to do what you need to do to get what you want. Because if you don't have mental peace, it don't matter what else is going on around in your life. It don't matter. If you're not good, nothing matters. You want this person? Get them. And don't think like, well, they have a free will and choice. BS. Put it this way. As Saturn is the planet that tells you, oh, you want this, huh? Prove it! So, prove it. If you really want this person, or if you're wanting to get this kind of a connection, prove it. Show that you want them. But now when I say that, use your head. Don't go to where they live and camp out in front of the house. No, that's stalking. Use your head. Be realistic. Be practical. Be calculative. Do minor things. Pretty much make your surroundings be more like they actually are connected with you again. Well, that came out of nowhere, but I'm going to completely ignore it. But when you're doing that, hold on. Be right back. Hold on. I can't not think. Hold on. Sorry. Now that, I've never had that happen before, so I guess that's just another thing to just purposely distract, but anyway. But like I said, you have all the skill and potential to actually bring what you want to you. It's just when you do get it, don't be afraid to be cutthroat about protecting it and keeping it. If something tries to come in and take it from you, don't be afraid to scare off whatever's trying to take it from you, or whomever from you. Make it known that that's not going to happen. That's not a choice. Because if they think that is an option and they try and go through it, they probably won't be recognizable, the best put it. You don't have to literally do anything. You just have to put in the thought like, don't do it. But other than that, this one, primary message for number 2 people, if there's an individual that you're having your eye on and wanting to pursue, well, make the choice with your twig, grab your stick, venture out. Don't let this wounding and damages harm you. That may have happened, or in previous, or not have happened at all, which does include if you haven't been with someone, that counts. Because you have the means to do it. You have the means and the tools to hook, line, and sink it. And also you have the means of protecting and safeguarding it, keeping it to you, and intimidating anything trying to take it from you. Just use King Asmodeus for his immensely potent way of using lust. But now here's the thing. Lust is the same exact thing as being hyper-focused. When you hyper-focus for something, you lust for it. You're so focused on it that you're not going to stop till you get it. That's lust. And lusting and longing for something, let's be real, that's not a sin. If you long and want something, you want it. So go and get it. And if somebody tries to shame you for that, that's all they need. But number 2, people, go after that individual you want, or pretty much embody the best part that you can to pull in this type of individual. Be discerning, too, with your choice. But other than that, that's the big main mission. The big message I'm getting for number 2. So get out the caboose. If you want to get this individual. If you don't want to get them, okay, stay on the caboose then. They'll come to you eventually. Now, number 3. That's when I put those away. Number 3. Oh boy, here to go. Let's go with the... So, here to go. I'm going to take a Coke gulp. So, here we go. If you chose 3, you are rock solid. We have Earth. We have Cancer. We have the Lugna, the first house. And we have everybody's favorite hipster, Shani. From the Daemon Tarot, we have Volok, President Volok. Tarot-wise, 2 of Cups, the Lovers, Five of Blades, Ace of Cups. Wow, talk about having a lot of wet. This is a bit. This one's a little bit wet and windy. Go figure. Okie dokie. So here's what I'm gonna go with first. I'm gonna tell that to go over there. I'm going to have this go like that. Then we're going to go over here like this and that. Okay, here to go. So first and foremost, this is going to be completely about you. This is the Lugna. And also because since, this is where Shiny or Saturn's like, where the fuck do I go? I have no direction. I can't. What? Why am I in this person's head? I'm lost. Which way do I go? What? I don't get it. Because Shiny loses direction in the Lugna of the first house. This is actually the natural house of Aries. But anyway, for the earth element, he's familiar with the Capricorn. And also Cancer, he actually owns a nakshatra called Pushya, which is the great nurturer and nourisher. And then President Volok, he excels in finding treasure and also finding out where there's snakes. But finding out where snakes, symbolically, he's actually able to help teach you how to actually find those to teach you how to do Tantra. He can help you find instructors on Tantra. He can teach you how to be using the ways of a snake. Help you catch a thief. Help you catch one who's being poison coy. One who's evasive. He can also teach you how to detect vibration. Yeah, you weren't expecting that, I know. And for goodness sakes, no. The way Volok was depicted in the Nun movie, by the Conjuring series, the Nun, that's not Volok. Not even close, honey. Nope. With it. So, primarily, the situation as altogether, there might be a really harsh realization towards the physical body. You might actually be in a position where you feel like you are not really caring for yourself on an emotional level and on a basic fundamental level, meaning that you're not really giving yourself adequate care, adequate nutrition, adequate water, adequate needs being met. You might be a little bit harsh with it. And you might be kind of putting yourself on the point where you're kind of not... you're not really giving your needs to yourself, and you're kind of... In a way, it's kind of being swindled by other people. And by swindled, I'm meaning that somebody comes in and says... Like, say, for example, if you made yourself some food, and then somebody asks, can I have just like a little piece of that? And they eat half of it. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody is not giving you what's due to you. That's one thing I get. Or instead of giving the needs being met for you first, they're actually being given to somebody else instead. So somebody else's needs get met, but yours get whiffed. Which is a no. So with Volok being the one in the center, there has to be better discernment, or even heck, until you get the needs met for yourself consistently. Everybody's a snake. Until your needs are met, everybody's a snake. You don't trust them. You don't give them nothing. Not at all. Because there seems to be a lot of deception or acts being put on to make it appear like, oh, they're not in a good standing, or something like, oh, they're not doing too well, they're going through a hard time, or something like that. Well, at the end of the day, the one that's most important is you. Yep. The one who's most important is you in your life. If somebody else outside of you is having a hard time, and they've actually been doing this charade of like, oh, my life's hard, woe is me crap. Well, then how come they haven't really done anything to try and change it on their own? Because 5 of Blades. You notice how the girl's fast asleep right there? You see the dark figure watching her? That's essentially what they're doing. Pretty much as soon as you wake up, or pretty much have the needs being met, the nourishment, they come in for the kill. And they take it from you. By intoxicating and woozy-wooing you. Don't let them do that. Don't. You need this nourishment and nutrition for yourself first. Because there is this strong longing desire to have this, a good connection or friendship, or, equal give and take between you and other people. But unfortunately, in order to get to that point, you can't get to that. You can't get to this without getting through this. You can't let somebody take your needs and your nourishment that you're desperately needing yourself. You can't take them and be all like, oh, I got it. I feel better, but what about me? I don't care. It's essentially now when they come back again, since they refuse to give you any of this in the first place, after when you've given to them, and they come back all, please, just say, well, I needed help before from you. What'd you do? No, my problem. So, instant replay. Except I'm doing it. Not my problem. And that's the thing. If there's somebody in your life that you know that's doing that to you. You give, but they never get back to you in return. And then when they need something, they tell you, and then you're like, no. And then as soon as you say no, but they're like, and they make up whatever excuse they can come up with, and then they try and make you feel guilty. But remember that though. When you help them, they never give it back to you when you needed it. So the ultimate lovers is pretty much you giving to yourself. The connection to self is being nourished. Masculine and feminine are together in innocence. Finally, at peace. When the feminine and masculine are nourished, they can rest and actually be in a perfect state of blissfulness and work at their highest state. But when they're not like that, we have a hot mess over here. We don't want the hot mess. So, overall, for pile number 3, understand that your needs are most important. You first. Everybody else, they can wait when you have extra. Or they can get off their tushy and sustain themselves. If they won't do that, they keep making up excuses, just say, I don't have a Terry Cupcake. I needed help from you before and you never were to be found, and now you want me to help you again? Why should I? Why should I give you any help? When I needed any kind of help from you at all, never. And when I reached out, you were like, not my problem. So why should I give it to you again? Oh, because I'm a nice person? Duh. Oh, I'm not a nice person anymore because I just said no because you won't give me the same back in return? Are you sure? Are you sure that's me? It kind of sounds like you have an issue. You don't know how a connection goes back and forth, give and take. Balanced. Which is all what Saturn's also about. Give and take. Duty, commitment, and sacrifice. And what's karmically just. That's Shunny for you. If you don't do it, he hits you with his stick and tells you, God, you suck! That's pile number 3. And in doing so, you'll be much more stable. Mentally, emotionally, and all through every sector of your life on this physical rock. Last but not least, number 4. We have the element of wetness. So if number 4 is getting wet, get soaked. This is ironic. We have getting wet, and then we have Leo. We have water and a lion. Water and cat. So far, that's not looking too good. Then we have the 10th house. And then the planet is K2. K2 actually owns a nakshatra in the 10th house. It's called Maga. And the water element, that's K2's natural element. So, the daemon is, oh, yay, I love it when it comes on. Marquis Andros. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like, have you gone mad, kid? Isn't that the one that kills people? Yeah? What's the problem? If you know how to interact with him, and if you're able to be hospitable and not be dim-witted, you actually come to realize Andres is actually really good for, giving his full attention to people. And listen. Turret Rise, we have the 3 of twigs. 6 of skulls, or 6 of pentacles. Or 6 of human heads. 6 of twigs, 2 6s. And the 4 of twigs. Wow, we got a lot of stick action here. Okay, we have that there. We have Sun in Taurus. We have Moon in Taurus. This one doesn't give me any kind of help with that one. Then we have Venus Shukracharya in Aries, which she also owns in Bernie. So, first and foremost, if you actually have been doing something where you just feel so meh about, and you kind of feel like you're doing this to put on a show, or like you're not really emotionally attached to something, I would best suggest that you would not be doing whatever this task is that you've been doing. Because on the opposite end, where K2's at with his 10th house placement, Rahu's in the 4th house of home, mother, emotional security, and having your needs being met. That's where Rahu's at. But, however, where K2 is, that's essentially where you master last life. So you're kind of like, why am I doing this again? So, whatever this is, having the Leo energy, which is like playwright, acting, children, anything that involves you getting like recognition, speculative games, entertainment, it might be causing a lot of emotional dissatisfaction, and to the point where it's actually irritating you. To the point you might not be really comfortable or even want to be doing this anymore. To the point it's actually making you become a little bit resentful. And kind of holding a lot of grudges to the people that actually put you in this type of field of work or profession. It's not what you want to do. It's like you were kind of pushed into doing this kind of work, and you do not want anything to do with it anymore. You did it mainly just to get people to shut up. Mainly. And if it's not that, then probably you might be encountering a situation where you're being coerced into doing something you don't want to do. And if that's the case, keep your emotions in check, but make it known that I'm not doing it. If I don't want to be doing this, I'm just so detached from it, and if boundaries get violated, set up a signal that, hey, I'm not doing it. And to best combat this, well, first and foremost, you have to turn your back on it. Have your back turned to the ship, and be like, hope you sink, twithead. And by hoping that they'll sink, go inside and go inside of the tower, or go inside to a place, have a ritualistic view like setup, and actually be in there, meditate, and actually even doing a co-working to make the change that you want, and focus in on it. Even do a devotional to it also, to that desired outcome. Because as soon as you're able to do that, and once you do it cleanly, without distraction, and doing it the best you can, From there, you'll have the veil lifted. And then you come to realize and actually be able to see the victory from him. And from this, actually, there's two things that pop out here. You notice how these two are kind of like if you were to put them together, kind of like this. Yeah. They kind of look like they would actually go together at the same thing. But here you have a wolf on this one, right there. Then you have a cat on that one. So in a way, it kind of balances itself all out. So really, if there's something or some kind of line of work that you're not feeling it and you're kind of detached with, just turn your back on it. Do some kind of magical work to make it right, and do some kind of ritualistic thing or even meditate about it. Put that in motion, then give it time. That veil of awareness of this victory will be lifted, and then the victory will just pop right next to you, or right in front of your face, like, haha, found you. But the line of work or whatever you have been going towards, or been doing, or being coerced to do, it's not. No. You're so detached from it, and you're like, I feel like I'm just wasting my time with this. I want to do something more productive. Not this stuff. Because it's making you become resentful and kind of a little bit grudgeful. And if you allow that to completely blind you, it can make you actually be a bit overkill with like how you interact with people. We don't want that. So overall, pile number 4, the best put it. Shut the fuck up. You're sitting right in front of each other. You don't have to yell. Oh, for fuck's sake. But anyway, overall, make your wants, desires known, and actually go towards what you want. Don't let somebody else come in and take it from you, because it's yours, not theirs. If you want to be doing a certain line of work that you want to do, have at it. I have no idea. Because, again, having all the bills now finally paid, I had to pay a lot of late fees. Because of that shenanigan that happened. That it's pushed back. Because of them. Because I had to cover the late fees for all of that too. There's so many bills. Yeah, so I don't know when it's going to come out. I thought I was going to be having like the first print or so. Put in at least one for me just to test it for myself. But nope. Oh well. In due time. But I mean, my needs and my everything is taken care of. It's just gotta wait to have the first test run for it. But oh well. But anyway. And that's pretty much what I got for number 4. And that's pretty much all the piles. Then from there, I'm not sure what else I'm gonna go, but anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here and take a breather. And I might come on if I want to talk about another topic. Actually, I might talk about the Anima Sola. Maybe. But anyway, we'll see you guys later.